One thing that I'm committed to is to do more for everyone else than they do for me. And as a result, I always want what's best for the other person. So whether it's an employee, a customer, a franchisee, I always want what's best for that person. And I think that commitment shines through. And the reason we came up with the name loyalty is I have so many people loyal to me.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm honored to be here today with John Hewitt, founder and CEO of Loyalty Brands. How are you doing today, John?
I'm incredible. Thank you.
Oh, excellent. That's a great answer. I appreciate you taking some time and spending it with us here on Business Ninjas. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and about Loyalty Brands.
Well, it's a long story. I've been in business 54 years, so I'll make it quick. I started out while I was at the University of Buffalo working for H&R Block and loved it. 12 years later, I was running 250 H&R Block locations. And it was 1981, and the world was just beginning to learn desktops. And my dad was the CFO of a public company, and he bought the first Apple by mail. And he liked the Apple better than the mainframe that was running his public company. So he convinced me to help him build the first tax software for an Apple. No one wanted it. It was way ahead of its time. Got blessed and found a company here in Virginia Beach called Mel Jackson Tax Services. Mel had died. We bought 6 offices from his widow. We merged the two companies, changed the name to Jackson Hewitt, went public. 15 years later, we sold it for $483 million. It went on to become a $1 billion company. In the meantime, I had a 3-year not-compete, but because Jackson Hewitt wasn't in Canada, it didn't cover Canada. And since I was working for H&R Block in Buffalo, I knew the Canadian tax system. So we started Liberty Tax in Canada. Within 3 years, became one of the top 100 retail chains. So now I've done it twice, once in U.S. and once in Canada. In 2000, when I made not-compete, I came back to the United States. And now, not only did Liberty Tax have to compete with H&R Block, the 900-pound gorilla, we had to compete with my own name and my own system and my own software at Jackson Hewitt. And yet, not only did we grow faster than H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt, we grew faster than both of them combined. Top 10 fastest growing franchisor ever. We built to 4,000 locations in 12 years. And again, public company, again, worth $500 million. Again, I sold my stock and started Loyalty Brands. Loyalty Brands is simplistically a franchisor of franchisors. We have a group of 12 different franchise systems.
Okay.
And we're adding more. We specialize in mentoring our franchisors and marketing for our franchisors. So that's my 54 years in a nutshell.
That was a pretty good cliff notes there. You have scaled before people were talking about scaling.
We were, again, a blessing.
A blessing. So what sort of companies are you working with now in terms of Loyalty Brands? Is there a niche in terms of verticals you service?
We're all over the board. We have everywhere from income tax, where again, I have the fastest growing income tax company in the world. I've done that with all of my companies, Block, Jackson Hewitt, and Liberty. We have accounting, we have inspection boys, home inspections, we have Zoom and grooming, mobile grooming, we have insurance, we have Salt Suite, where you sit in a room and have salt sent into the room. We just have a myriad of different brands. And the latest is a roofing, solar, and siding.
Excellent. Is there anything in particular that you can point to that has led to such consistent success in marketing and scaling businesses? Obviously, you have done as good a job of that as anyone I've ever encountered, and have done it repeatedly. What's the secret of your success?
I think the clear, well, there's several things. First of all, the one thing that I'm committed to is to do more for everyone else than they do for me. And as a result, I always want what's best for the other person. So whether it's an employee, a customer, a franchisee, I always want what's best for that person. And I think that commitment shines through. And the reason we came up with the name loyalty is I have so many people loyal to me that I have, we only have, so far we have about 30 employees. 2/3 of them have worked with me 20 years or more. So, and the only way to get loyalty is to give loyalty. And that comes from people know that I care, that I want what's best for them. And it's, it's wonderful when what's best for them is best for us too. But at the end of the day, I always want what's best for people. And I think that has gotten me tons of followers, or people that sees the dream and follow my dream, because I just care about people.
You're preaching to the choir. I truly believe that if you treat people and relationships well, and you have a good idea and you put in the work, the money will, the almighty dollar will come. There's a lot of people who chase the almighty dollar, and some of the other karmic energies aren't taken care of in the process. And there's a reason you have thrived for so long. And I appreciate that that's where you're coming from. What makes loyalty brands stand out, aside from your relentless leadership and great vibe at the top of the food chain? What makes loyalty brands stand out from its competition?
Yeah, there are about 40 or 50 different groups that have multiple franchisors amongst them. And there's a couple differentiators, 2 or 3 different differentiators that make us special. Number one is we do mentoring. We've not only myself provides mentoring, we have CEO classes, for example. I don't know of any CEO classes in this country. I know of hundreds of MBA programs and thousands of business courses, but no one teaches you to think like a CEO, right? No one teaches you, and you're in the arena and you're fighting, how to fight. They're just talking to you about theories and how you treat people and so forth. So we teach people and mentor them. And in every one of our brands, they get a mentor and someone to give them guidance. And all the mentors report to me. So they're always getting that guidance, 12 months a year, 365. They're being guided into making the right kind of decisions. And that's not easy. It's very difficult. And so that's one of the things is mentoring. Secondly, is we provide franchise development. So we go out and get franchisees. In this country, the average franchise, not the average, but to be in the top 50% of all franchise chains in this country, you only need 20 locations. Well, that's unbelievable. Most franchisors fail. And I brought in, for the last 37 years in franchising, I brought in an average of 12 a month, 150 a year for 37 years. And so contrast that into the typical franchisor that brings in 3 a year. So we're way ahead of others in bringing in franchise. Then one of the things I've never seen done successfully anywhere in the world, and certainly not in the United States, is cross-marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one brand, for example, our largest Zoom and Grumman location has 5,000 customers. Well, guess how many of them need a tax return? 5,000, right? And then our largest tax office has 7,000 customers. And 75% of them have pets. So it amazes me that that until I see the difficulty of getting these CEOs in these companies to share databases and share incentives, it amazes me in a way how difficult it is to get companies to do cross marketing. So it's those things: sales, mentoring, cross marketing, that set us apart from anyone in the universe.
Absolutely. Now, I would think that in the last couple of years through COVID, this great resignation slash reset, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people are looking for new business opportunities. Tell me about how Loyalty Brands has been able to grow through COVID through the last couple of years.
Yeah, like most companies, most of our brands were shut down for a period during COVID, and of course there was a recession. Well, recessions are actually good for new business startups. People that are laid off are often they're disappointed with the career, that I don't want to ever happen again. I want to take control of my own destiny. So during recessions, we franchisors, great companies, grow faster or grab more market share in recession than they do when times are good. For example, at Liberty Tax in the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, when, for example, Starbucks closed 650 locations, we opened at Liberty Tax over 700 locations. We were the fastest growing company in the country because during recession, you don't have to buy a fancy cup of coffee. You don't have to buy a new car or refrigerator or house, but you do have to file your taxes. And so that's one of the three certainties in life is taxes. And so it's the recession proof or resistant aspect of our businesses is very helpful during recessions. There's a lot of companies go out of business. And again, it's easier to gain market share during a recession than it is when times are good. When times are good, the high tide floats all boats. It's at low tide where you really are challenged.
I have to ask, everyone says death and taxes. What's the third certainty?
Yeah, Dennis Rately wrote this about 35 years ago, and I liked it so much I had him come in a keynote speaker for me at Jackson Hewitt when I was at Jackson Hewitt. But he said, you know what? There's always going to be change. There's always going to be change. And in my career, it changes, if not every minute, every hour, every day, every week. There's always going to be changes. And yes, so it's death, tax, and change.
Well,
Benjamin Franklin said, he invented 1776, death and taxes. And Dennis Waitley about 35 years ago added to that. And that's true. I believe that, and I've seen it.
No, I heartily agree. I think anomalies are actually the norm in reality. Trying to do this exact same thing the same way every single day is not really natural, right? That's not how nature works, and we're constantly shown that every day. COVID was certainly a disruptor of epic proportions for most people. Is there a particular sort of company or size of company that you work best with at Loyalty Brands?
Most of the companies we brought in have been close to startups, and there's a number of reasons for that. But one reason certainly is what I've found in my career is that established executives I call it a CEO syndrome. They think they're supposed to know everything, and so they don't listen. And I watch in my industry, for example, H&R Block has had 9 CEOs in the 21st century. Jackson Hewitt has had 9 CEOs in the 21st century. Since I left in 2018, Liberty's had 3 CEOs. And each and every one comes in, and I'm just almost flat. If it wasn't happening time after time, I would be flabbergasted, because you would think, and almost all of them came in with no industry experience. So out of the 21, 19 had no industry experience. They came from McDonald's or or General Electric, or they came from other industries. If it were me, the first thing I would do was take my experts, people who've been in the business for decades, and say, okay, how can we change this company? Because I have a novel belief that most of the improvements in any company are already known by the rank and file. No one listens to it. No one pays any attention. And for my money, the person closest to the customer knows better than I do what the customer needs. And I know the big picture way better, but they know, and you got to listen to people. And and it seems like I've even promoted some myself. And I took a person who, before they became CEO, they listened and they improved. But it seems like you get this disease where you're appointed CEO and you're okay. Now I know everything because I'm CEO, and they stop listening. And so that's a major impediment to improvement. And I think to have the best system, it has to be an improving system. And so we're committed to two things. And you've already mentioned one earlier, and that's having fun. Life's too short. So our mission statement is very simple. It's 4 words. It's having fun. I think if you go to work on Monday morning, you're not looking forward to it. You're going to the wrong place. So having fun, improving life. And that's our simple mission statement. It's easy to remember, and we're fanatically committed to that.
Oh, that's huge. Company culture is everything. You talk about CEOs acting as if they know everything. There are a lot of people who are further down the food chain who may have the seeds of ideas that could make the business explode, but either they don't know how to present those ideas, or they feel that they work in a situation where those ideas have to be presented as having come from someone above them, right? Someone else needs to take credit for that idea. So the conversation never gets had. So if the energy at the top of the food chain is like yours, which is, hey, we're all in this, we're listening, then everybody succeeds, right? Then people at the bottom of the food chain feel heard, and the people at the top of the food chain actually understand what's going on a day-to-day basis. So I applaud your foresight. Hey, there's reasons you've been doing this as long as you have and as successfully as you have. What role has content marketing played in the growth of loyalty brands? How are you getting your story out there?
That's one of the advantages that we have, that before we talk to marketing, let's talk about reach and footprint.
Sure.
I brought in 5,000 franchisees. So I've had those 5,000 franchisees have had 250,000 employees. And so whenever I go anywhere, next week I'm going to be in Miami on Sunday, Tampa on Monday, Houston on Tuesday, Wednesday, Dallas, and Thursday, Vegas. Wherever I go, I have people that have worked for me in one of my previous lives in Jackson, Hewitt, or Liberty, or even sometimes Guam. So we have access to a lot of great people who believe in me. And so we just need to get that story out. And so we do it in every vehicle that you can think of. I mean, we've used in the past, we've used things as crazy as a blimp. We've had our blimp. We use costume characters. We have Jackson at Liberty, they have a Statue of Liberty waiver.
Oh,
yeah.
I've seen them. Yep.
At ATAX, we have an eagle waiver. So we use every means possible to get the words out. But we don't advertise loyalty brands very much, because it's sort of like Yum Brands. Yum Brands, for those of your listeners that are or viewers that aren't familiar, they own Taco Bell and Kentucky Fried Chicken and Pizza Hut. But you never hear of the phrase young brands because they don't really care. And so we want to get the names out of ATAX and Ledger's Bookkeeping and Zoom and Grumman and Inspection Boys. We want to get each of our brands out, and so each of them has their own methods of getting out and beginning to establish. All of them are moving towards national brand names.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, switch gears entirely. What is something you would like to be celebrating personally and professionally 1 year from today?
Our goal is to have 1,000 offices, and so that our short-term goal. Our long, I mean, we have long-term goals, and I'm a big proponent of big, hairy, audacious goals. And I say I walk the line of crazy and the tightrope of crazy because I was doing a conversation with one of my employees, and we had retreats every year. And at one retreat, he was very negative. It was on the first time he came. And I told his boss I didn't want him to come to the next planning retreat. He said, "Oh, he'll be good. He'll be good. I promise." And I said, "Well, I want to talk to him beforehand." And so he and his boss and I had a conversation. I said, "Are you a pessimist or an optimist?" And he said, "I consider myself a realist." So that surprised me. I was taken aback for a minute. And then I said, "Do you know, James, that when I started loyalty or Liberty Tax in the United States, I had to compete against 6,000 HR blogs and 3,000 Jackson Hewitts, my own name and my own software, my own system, and 2 national names. And we had nothing. We had no officer. Now, what sane person would believe that we could go out and compete on a level plate, let alone grow faster? And James, we grew faster than both of them combined, right? And who would believe that? You got to be crazy. So when we make our goals, Andrew, we start out with high, audacious goals. And then we cut it 10 years, then we go down to 5, and then 3, and then 1 year. So our goal in 12 months is to have 1,000 locations.
Excellent. Excellent. And personally, what would you like to be celebrating a year from now?
Personally,
Yeah.
my goals are to do more for every person than they do for me, and to have people pay it forward. I've already created 1,000. I've helped. I say created 1,000 millionaires. I've enabled 1,000 couples or individuals to become millionaires with my systems and my support. So I've changed lives. I mean, most people my age are long retired, and God bless them, that's fine. And I have if that's their goal in life is to work hard and be retired, God bless them. But with me, when I was young, I thought I knew I was going to be rich. I just didn't know how. And then I found HR block and tax preparation and franchising, and the rest is history. But I thought I'd just retire. When I was 16, 17, I was cocky. I was, okay, I'm going to get rich, and then I'll just make a few million and retire. And then I found out, what am I going to do? I learned that it isn't the treasure at the end of the rainbow that's anticlimactic. It's the journey. It's the 15-year journey at Jackson Hewitt. It's the 20-year journey at Liberty. It's the 4-year journey at Loyalty Brands. That's the joy. And if you miss that and just look for that treasure, boy, is life going to pass you by fast. So you better enjoy every step of the journey. So I have no goals that matter. I'm goal driven, and I'm fanatical, and the name of my book is I Compete. So winning is black and white with me. Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. So I have my goals, but But my real goal is to enjoy the journey and improve lives, having fun, improving lives.
Well, I can see that you derive true joy out of the relationships and out of helping people thrive. And that's some good karma you're sporting there, sir. And I appreciate your time today. Please tell everyone what the URL is for Loyalty Brands and what social media channels you're using these days as well.
You can find us virtually on every social media, of course, but most of all, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. But we're virtually on everything, and it's just loyaltybrands.com.
Excellent. John Hewitt, founder and CEO of Loyalty Brands, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I truly appreciate who you are and what you do and all the people you have helped thrive, and I hope each and every one of them is paying it forward.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a great day.